All right, y'all, so we put our rip in. We're gonna keep, the way you're looking at this is correct. This is the back wall. This is the factory side, what we did not touch. We used a guide rail down here on the front. This is what we're gonna make our pass with the router. And the reason we're gonna do that is because this is going to, whenever we factory cut this with a guide, if there's any difference at all, we've already sanded that smooth. We're going to leave what we know is from the store factory hitting against the back wall. So anything that is slightly tweaked or off on the front rail going over ain't going to matter once the router passes and once we get it sanded. And what we always like to do, this is what we cut off. We just want to take a little bit of this and we want to check our router out before we sink it into this guy and actually ruin him. So we want to make sure that this is hitting correctly. There you go. You can see the rollover. There's no edge left up here at all, and you can clearly see where I stopped and where I started. So once we do to the bottom, that's how you get that completely to round over. So we're good. The depth is set correctly. Let's move on over here and get this routed. All right, y'all, so we got our front edge here coved over and under. Okay, turned out super slick. And we already have our length cut. And our length, our wall down at this end, the other wall, believe it or not, was actually our square wall. That was actually straight. This wall down here, when we looked down at earlier, we could see it twisted a tad. When we measured the back side and the front side. So anybody doing a counter, don't just measure out front because the back can mess you up. You think you're good, you go to get in and you're digging into the wall or you're short. So we measure the back and the front and that tells us what this angle is. So we measured about a 1/4 inch long, longer than what we need. That way we can slide into the drywall and back over to the other side and make both of these sides here kind of disappear right into the wall. Dealing with our sink, bunch of different sinks. So we're not going to get into it too much about ours, but we did want to show you, look at that picture. So our sink is it's a vessel, it sets on top. This is the template, and as you can see, here's the faucet hole, here's the drain hole. So this is very similar to like a bathtub. We only need these 2 holes. The reason the template is this big, just like a bathtub, at the end of this, the way this specific sink is designed, the faucet goes through a flat space on the back of this vessel sink, and then that'll get pushed tight to the wall on the finish side. So by us cutting this big square out, it's going to allow the vessel to sit down in here and be slid to the right, to the left, or forward or back so that we hit our wall when we don't really know what that is right now on this side. So we could slap this to the back wall and there'd be a little bit of a gap, even though this is factory, because our wall would be walking at that point. So we're going to go ahead and get started, get this template out. We got 2 sinks to cut out. One down at this end, one down at the other. Remember, we got a tower going in ours, dead center. So we'll get into that. All right, so according to the template instructions, it showed the finished wall back here being 1 inch in and the sink template starting right there. So in our cabinet specs, we have a 48-inch guy out front, 48-inch on the other side, and then we got a center guy. So with our math, we needed to be center of the 48, would have been 24. But in our specs, well, I ain't even going to confuse you. We're out here in the center of the 48. We're going to leave that other inch alone that we know about because everybody's house is different. But that is how we knew to make our mark dead center of that cabinet. Then we took the template where we had that inch off the back wall, set the template right to it, and then just traced around just like that. Look how Tom's holding this. So there's our original back line to keep us an inch off exactly. So now I'm just going to take that ear and this ear and bring those around, because see the dotted line, if Tom would get straight, the dotted line will be right here on this black line, and the same width up there. That's how you know that your sink is in the center, and that's how you know your sink is not twisted one way or another. So let's get these cut out. So look, real quick before we cut these out, you know, placement is crucial. Look at everything, make sure everything looks nice and straight. The sink does not sit here. The back line will sit here. The actual sink is out here. What this does, because really you only need your drain hole and the faucet hole. What this does is a hole with the face of the sink here and the back here. It allows you to move on the finished side, left, right, back and forth, to kiss up against the drywall. That's exactly what that template's for. So that's pretty cool. We got all kinds of movement, just like a tub would be. So let's go ahead and get these cut out now, see what we got. All right, y'all, all you gotta do, just pilot you out a little hole. You can already see we did, and already went a little bit with our jigsaw blade. So as long as the hole allows the blade to slide in, then you just cut that right out, ×2. All right, so now we have our sink cutouts. That's exactly, remember the sink comes out to here somewhere, so it gives us the availability to move left to right, back and front. Now we're gonna do, typically when they sell butcher block in a store, it's about a 150 grit or so. So we're gonna go back to 150, and we're gonna, the edge and all, we're gonna take that all the way up to 400. Just walk them right through the grits, 150, 180, 220, 320, 400, and that's it. And then we're going to stop right there, and then be ready to take it back here in the shop and get ready to get it painted up. Okay, so we're finally back here in our shop, and now you can see the little sled here in the box we built for underneath. So it not only lifts it up, we made it smaller on purpose, about 3 inches or so, and then the back side same way, about 3 inches. And this is why we put slack in that plastic, and we made that trench line. Okay, that resin's gonna run over and it's gonna pull up right here. Same with the back side, so that all we have to do when we get ready to start the resin part is we're gonna take some plastic and put it out here on the end. That way, none of this has to go over here and we got a plastic what we're walking on, you know, along the floor and all that. So we'll get to that in a minute. We're also gonna get to leveling in a minute. This is not leveled yet, we just rested it on here. We're kind of even everywhere. This is upside down. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna apply a coat of paint to this guy upside down, because we wanna sew up all the breathing underneath, sides, the whole 9 yards. So we're gonna start with the bottom. 1 coat of paint is it. We're gonna flip it over, get all our sides and the top, let that dry, and then we're gonna move forward with our seal coat. The reason we chose black, for one, we'd already done the shower niche in black, dropped the copper on it. It made the copper more rich, more vibrant, put some dark tones in behind it. That's why we went with the black. With that being said, we're gonna duplicate this the same way. That way we get the same results as the shower niche. So that is all we're trying to do here, is just to clog everything underneath. No more, no less. So we'll get all this worked in real good, just like you see me doing. Kind of go back and forth every which direction. But you know, 98, 99% of this sucker is going to be clogged just by doing this right here. The other side that gets epoxied is the side that we're actually going to seal coat on. So we'll bring you right back when we get all this wrapped and flipped, the other side painted. All right, hey, just wanted to point out too, we're still on the bottom side wrapping up. You want to get those sink edges, no doubt. You want to keep those from breathing as well. So we're just, after we're done with the surface up here up top, we're coming through then and you know, getting them like that, and then we're sewing up with hardly, you know, not a whole lot of paint left. We're going ahead and grabbing this edge out here, slicking him up real good. So we're going to seal coat as well to keep this from breathing, but the black is crucial, it's necessary. because we just don't want to seal coat over the raw wood, even though that would clog all the pores. When that copper goes down, because that pigment is a 50-50, it's a translucent, so it's not completely solid, it's not completely transparent. So being translucent, we don't want a miss in that pigment area and you know, the natural wood come through, or you can see the little individual blocks, you know, that they join together to create the butcher block. So that's the whole point in painting that. And not only it does before the seal coat, it you know, it serves a really good purpose. So now any pigment that ain't mixed up enough, anything like that, that black will shine right through and absorb that and make that copper just that much more deep, dark, and elegant. All right, you guys, we got it done. It is flipped back correctly now. We are seeing this exactly like it's going to go into play. The bottom is completely done. Now the top's done, the sides match, and as you can see, it's still wet. We just wrapped it up, and we did both sink bases. So there is nothing sitting here breathing right now. It's like 98%, 99% clogged. So we're in good shape. We're gonna let this black just continue to dry. We have a secondary top we are making. Yes, we will be doing a complete video with that guy as well. Right now, we're gonna let this dry, guys. So that's it with this video. Come back and check it out. Next video up to bat is seal coating this bad boy every which way so that we can follow through with the flood coat, the veining, the colors, all the goodies. Till the next one.